Folks, today we're diving deep into one of America's most incredible truck collections, the Mahan Collection. These aren't just old trucks. They're rolling pieces of history that most people have completely forgotten about. 10th truck, Mack M100SX. The Mack M100SX, sitting in the Mahan Collection, isn't just a truck, it's the biggest, baddest Mack ever built, and most truckers today have never even heard of it. Standing over 13 feet tall and stretching nearly 33 feet long, this absolute monster tips the scales at over 95,000 pounds empty, making modern heavy-duty trucks look like toys in comparison. Under that massive hood sits a Detroit diesel 12V149T twin-turbo engine pushing around 1,000 horsepower, built for one purpose: moving loads that would break lesser machines. Back in 1967, this beast worked for Hoffman Rigging and Crane, compacting airport runways and hauling rock like it was sand, proving that American engineering could build anything the job demanded. The cab sits so high you could rent it out as an apartment, and those tires are taller than most people, showing just how extreme heavy-haul trucking used to be. Today, restored to its original glory with paint shining and chrome gleaming, the M100SX represents the pinnacle of what Mack could achieve when size and power were the only requirements that mattered. 9th truck, Mack AC Bulldog. The 1919 Mack AC in the Mahan Collection is where the legendary Bulldog nickname was born, earned from British soldiers in World War I who admired its tenacious stance and bulletproof construction. This open cab warrior, with solid rubber tires and chain drive to the rear axle, was the workhorse that literally built America between the wars, hauling everything from construction materials to military supplies. This particular AC is one of the earliest survivors, a genuine piece of rolling history with battle scars that tell stories of a century of hard work and determination. When you climb into that exposed seat, you can smell the century-old steel and oil, feeling the weight of history in every rivet and bolt that holds this machine together. There's no modern comfort here, just a steering wheel the size of a pizza, a gearbox that fights you for every shift, and the kind of honest engineering that made America great. When that old gas motor coughs to life, you can almost hear the echoes of soldiers, road crews, and pioneers who depended on trucks like this to get the job done when failure wasn't an option. 8th truck, Mack AB diesel conversion. The Mack AB diesel conversion in the Mahan Collection tells the story of American ingenuity and the transition that changed trucking forever. Originally built in 1927 as a gasoline-powered truck, some forward-thinking mechanic in the late 1930s ripped out that gas engine and dropped in a Caterpillar diesel, creating a hybrid that represented the future of trucking. This conversion was part of the early transition to diesel power that eventually took over the entire industry, proving that truckers have always been willing to innovate when it meant better performance. The diesel swap gave this AB torque for days, perfect for the slow, heavy hauls that were becoming more common as America's infrastructure projects grew larger and more ambitious. When you fire up that old Caterpillar diesel, the distinctive clatter turns heads instantly and makes real truckers smile, because it's not just noise, it's the sound of progress and innovation. This truck represents the moment when American trucking realized that diesel power was the future. 7th truck, Mack H67 Cherry Picker. One look at the Mack H67 cherry picker. And you know you're seeing something completely different from conventional truck design. This 1955 oddball was an early cab-over experiment, where the driver sat partially above the engine, designed to shorten overall truck length for easier city maneuvering in an era when urban delivery was becoming increasingly important. The result was a truck that looked futuristic, but made for a noisy, hot, and uncomfortable ride that tested the endurance of every driver who climbed behind the wheel. In the Mahan Collection, the cherry picker sits unrestored, looking exactly like it just rolled off a 1950s dockyard after a hard day's work. You can still see the wear patterns on the seat from decades of shifts, and when you stand beside it, you realize just how cramped and challenging these early cab-over designs really were. There was no air ride, no insulation, no creature comforts, just you, the road, and a whole lot of engine heat radiating up through the floor right under your feet. This truck represents the experimental spirit of 1950s truck design, when manufacturers were willing to try radical new concepts to solve the challenges of urban trucking. Sixth truck, Brockway 527 COE. The Brockway 527 COE in the Mahan Collection is a rare survivor of a proud American truck brand that deserved a much longer run than it got. Brockway was the pride of Cortland, New York, and their cab-over trucks were built with the kind of over-engineering that made them legendary among drivers who needed maximum durability. This particular 527 features that classic squared-off cab design, a Bulldog level stance that commands respect, and an interior that still smells like every truck stop between New York and Chicago. Under that tilting cab sits a big block diesel that rattles your bones when it's idling, reminding you that these trucks were built for work, not comfort or quiet operation. Brockways were famous for being over-engineered in the best possible way, and you can see it in the heavy frame rails, beefy axles, and robust construction that was designed to last decades rather than just until the warranty expired. This 527 isn't just a museum piece, it's a tribute to a lost American truck manufacturer that understood what working truckers needed and built machines that could deliver it day after day. When Brockway closed its doors in 1977, the trucking industry lost a company that truly understood the meaning of American quality and durability. Fifth truck, Brockway 361. If the 527 COE was Brockway's ultimate workhorse, the 361 Conventional was their road-running stallion designed for drivers who took pride in their equipment. This beauty features a long nose, bold grille, and classic lines that scream owner-operator pride from every angle and detail. The 361st in the Mahan Collection wears a clean, professionally restored paint job and looks like it could hook to a flatbed trailer today and run cross-country without missing a beat. These trucks were famous throughout the industry for their exceptional durability and comfort. Well, comfort by 1970s standards, when air ride was still a luxury and ergonomics were an afterthought. The ride was still stiff compared to modern trucks, but drivers loved how these Brockways handled on the highway and how they could be counted on to start every morning regardless of weather conditions. Every detail on this 361, from the chrome exhaust stacks to the thoughtfully laid out dashboard, tells you this was a truck built specifically for folks who live their entire lives behind the wheel. This truck represents the golden age of American trucking, when manufacturers understood that drivers were the heart of the industry and built machines that reflected that respect and understanding. And folks, if you're enjoying this journey through trucking history, hit that subscribe button because we've got more forgotten legends coming your way. Fourth truck, Linn half-track snow tractor. The Linn half-track snow tractor in the Mahan Collection is something you'll never see anywhere else unless you're lucky enough to visit this incredible museum. This 1920s engineering marvel was built to tackle deep snow and rough terrain that would stop conventional trucks dead in their tracks. Think of it as the great-grandfather of modern tracked haulers, combining the steering capability of regular truck tires up front with massive tracks in the rear that could chew through snow like it was powdered sugar. This unique rig was used for logging operations, hauling supplies to remote camps, and early snow clearing operations in areas where roads were more suggestion than reality. The engineering was brilliant in its simplicity, conventional steering and front suspension for maneuverability, combined with tracked propulsion that could handle any terrain Mother Nature could throw at it. The Linn at Mahan's looks like it could still plow through a Vermont winter without breaking a sweat, demonstrating the kind of rugged reliability that made these machines legendary among loggers and construction crews. It's part truck, part tractor, and all-American grit, representing an era when manufacturers were willing to build specialized equipment for specific applications rather than trying to make one-size-fits-all solutions that compromised performance for mass appeal. Third truck, Sterling Brockway Hybrid Wrecker. This custom Sterling Brockway Hybrid Wrecker is a true Frankenstein creation that showcases the ingenuity of 1940s truck builders who weren't afraid to mix and match components to create the perfect machine for specific jobs. This beast features a Sterling cab expertly mated to a Brockway chassis, then built into a heavy-duty wrecker with twin booms, massive winches, and a stance that says, "I dare you to get stuck where I can't reach you." Back in the day, custom shops regularly built trucks like this for specialized applications, combining the best features of different manufacturers to create machines that could handle jobs no factory-built truck could touch. This particular wrecker was all muscle and determination, designed to recover the heaviest trucks from the most challenging situations when failure meant blocking critical transportation routes. In the Mahan Collection, it's positioned like a guardian at the gate with faded paint, hanging hooks, and steel cables thick as your wrist that tell stories of countless recoveries. This truck is a reminder that before factory-built wreckers became standard equipment, truckers and mechanics created their own mechanical beasts to get impossible jobs done. The hybrid represents the can-do spirit of American trucking, when innovation meant grabbing a torch and building exactly what you needed rather than waiting for someone else to solve your problems. Second truck, Mack Tunnel Wrecker. The custom Mack Tunnel Wrecker in the Mahan Collection was built to solve a uniquely urban problem that most truckers never had to face. New York City's low-clearance tunnels created special challenges when trucks broke down in confined spaces, requiring specialized recovery equipment that could operate in tight quarters. This squat, heavy-duty Mack was custom-built specifically for tunnel recovery operations, featuring a low roofline, short wheelbase, and all the pulling power you could ask for in a package that could actually fit through the tunnels it was designed to serve. This unique wrecker probably saved hundreds of trucks from causing massive traffic jams under the city, responding to breakdowns in spaces where conventional recovery equipment simply couldn't operate effectively. The engineering challenges were significant. How do you build a wrecker powerful enough to handle heavy trucks while keeping it low enough to clear tunnel restrictions and short enough to maneuver in tight spaces? First truck, Kenworth W900A. We're finishing our countdown with a true American icon that needs no introduction among serious truckers. The legendary Kenworth W900A that represents everything great about owner-operator trucking. This 1970s beauty is pure long-haul style incarnate, featuring that distinctive long hood, twin chrome stacks, and massive chrome bumper that announced your arrival from miles away. The W900A in the Mahan Collection is dressed in classic Kenworth colors and looks ready to hook up to a trailer and hit Interstate 80 tomorrow morning for a cross-country run. These trucks were the undisputed kings of the owner-operator world during trucking's golden age, offering plenty of room in the sleeper, massive power under that long hood, and a ride quality that could eat up the miles while keeping drivers comfortable and alert. This W900A embodies the spirit of American trucking when drivers took genuine pride in their equipment and the industry respected the skill and dedication required to succeed as an independent operator. There you have it, folks. 10 absolutely incredible forgotten trucks from the Mahan Collection that prove trucks aren't just machines, they're genuine milestones in American transportation history. The Monster M100SX shows us the raw power and engineering capability of heavy-haul trucking when size and strength were the only requirements. The historic Bulldog AC represents the grit and endurance that built this country during its most challenging periods. The experimental cherry picker, the snow-conquering Linn half-track, and the specialized tunnel wrecker remind us that trucking has always been about solving problems, no matter how strange or challenging the solution might look to outsiders. If you enjoyed this journey through trucking's forgotten legends, smash that subscribe button and hit the notification bell, because we've got more incredible stories about the machines and people that built America's transportation industry. Until next time, keep the shiny side up, the rubber side down, and remember that every mile you drive adds to the continuing story of American trucking.